In this video, I want to talk about how coaches can very organically generate leads and build their business. And I share this as a video because it's one that comes up so often to me as a business mentor and also as the founder of Life Coaching Academy. It is the question that every coach wants to know. How do you build your business? How do you generate leads organically? And what I mean by that is away from social media, because for a lot of people, they've generated an enormous success on social media and good for them. But for others, they love the coaching space, but they don't necessarily like the social media space. And sometimes it can seem like the only way to build your business is through social media. And that is absolutely not true. I would argue that there is a lot more successful coaches that aren't on social media than are. And in working with them and learning from them, yeah, I'm amazed at how obvious and how simple it is to build your business organically. But sometimes when we're in the thick of things, when we're challenged, when we're stressed, it's actually hard to see what perhaps might be, immediately speaking, obvious and in front of us. So in this video, I share this as, I'd like to say, a reminder. And also something that you can perhaps take with a pinch of salt. Some parts might not be appropriate to you, others can or might be. And so hopefully this will just inspire a little bit of development on your own side. So what I love is how we as coaches, we learn so many tools. We learn how so many of our challenges and our problems in life can be solved. And can be solved quite efficiently. What unfortunately happens to us all is that we learn these tools and we start to spot issues in other people. And we start to let them know that Jesus, they need coaching, and oh, how about if I worked with you? God, if we did a session together, we could erase all these problems. And I kind of feel that, everybody's on their own journey. Nobody likes to be told they have issues. And sometimes formal processes are a little bit off-putting. So what I find comes up for a lot of coaches is that actually in their early stages, as they go through these motions of learning the tools, reaping the benefits, and wanting to share that with others, and spotting perhaps issues in others and presenting them with their issues, can be quite off-putting. And a lot of coaches in their early stages feel quite isolated. And for me, I think that's sad, because you've got a lot of value to share and you can deliver an enormous impact. So the first thing I want to do in terms of helping you generate leads organically is to help navigate through this issue, because it's a small block that comes at the start of a lot of people's careers. And if we can address it, it will complement you so much for going forward. So the key thing for me is, one, as a coach, it is not our job to point out faults in other people, but it's actually for us to help others realize them for themselves, see them for themselves, and want to address them for themselves. We just facilitate it. And I also think it's important for us to recognize how perhaps intimidating the idea of a formal coaching process might be. So instead, what I recommend coaches to do is to really hoover in all those learnings and embody the coaching learnings for themselves, to show up in their lives as their coaching selves, and to not announce them a coaching session, but instead actually just to apply the tools that we learn as coaches in our normal lives. So let's make that real. Let's say perhaps that someone in your close circle, a friend, a family member, might be going through a challenging time. You can imagine how off-putting it would be if you were to show up and start telling them of the challenges and what's coming up for them. People don't want to hear that. People are always looking for someone just to support them. So let's say you show up as your coaching self. What's that mean? You show up present for that family member or close friend. You check in with them. How are you? And you don't say it superficially or passively. You look them in the eyes with real presence and ask them how they are. You bite your tongue and you listen. And you invite someone to actually open up in front of you. You hear them and you really think hard for yourself in terms of what questions could you ask that will help open this person up all the more, will help them feel safe, will help them feel secure. And as they hopefully can open up in your presence, you let them unload. And question by question, you help them, one, open up and share whatever's burdening them. You help them perhaps look at it from a different angle, and you help them navigate through that challenge for themselves. That's what good coaching is all about. Showing up present, asking the right questions, listening, learning to ask the other right questions, biting your tongue and letting somebody figure themselves out for themselves. And if you give this gift to your friends, to your family, you will start facilitating enormous change and growth in them that they won't be able to not be appreciative to you and to not being actually like quite impacted and quite like, whoa, that was quite a lot, thank you. And I think it's important that you say a pleasure and you let them walk away, you let them go away, and you let them take in the experience, which is essentially a coaching experience. And I'm reminded now of when I was getting into coaching, my friend Thomas McCormick turned to me and I asked him, what is a coach? And he said, Jamie, learning to be a coach is essentially learning to be the best friend, the brother, the sister that you never had. And so in applying this method, we are showing up as the best friend that, hell, we wished we had. We're allowing that impact to take place. And as I said, our close friend, our family member, we're allowing them to go. We're not like saying, hey, appreciate me, or hey, I want gratitude, or thanks for that. We're allowing them to go, and we're allowing them to process all that they've experienced. Because, sometimes when we open up and we share, and then we start, we're asked the right questions, and we look at things a little bit differently, and we solve our problems. That in its instant can be quite shocking, but as a day follows and we start to process things, that's where the real impact comes, that's where the real value comes. And 2, 3, 4 days down the line, I lay you a bet, if you do this, you will get a call, or somebody will check in with you and say, hey, I just want to touch base about that conversation we had. Thank you. Thank you for asking how I was. Thank you for asking the questions that you did. Thank you for listening. Thank you for helping me figure myself out. That was incredible. And this is the magic moment where you have delivered value to somebody else and sparked real curiosity. And it's at that point that that person really has felt your impact and is either going to say, do you know what, is this what you're learning as a coach? Is this what you're doing as a coach? You might say, yes. Well, wow, thank you. And at that point, they'll either ask to engage with you themselves, and you can talk to them about what that looks like formally, or they will carry that impact with them. And you know yourself, when you feel the impact and value of something, you want to share that with others that perhaps might feel the same and might need it that little bit more. So you will turn your friends and your families into advocates, into promoters of you. And I think that's the missing key that so many coaches suffer from, to be completely honest. They, instead of actually really sharing themselves with those closest to them and delivering the impact that they can and really winning over their surrounding environment, they put them off. And with that crowd won, and with a whole network of people out there talking about how good you are at the work that you do and the impact that you can bring, your business growth will be inevitable. It will, and the more you show up in that capacity as the coach that you are, the faster your business will grow. I have seen people build capacity businesses in a matter of months, and unfortunately I have seen people not being able to get clients for years. And I really think this key lesson that I shared with you now is the determining factor. So, as I said at the start, I shared this because I've seen it play out so many times, and I think there's real magic in it when it can be won right. It's not for everybody, but it might bring value to some. And if this brings you value, well, that'll put a big smile on my face. In watching this and getting this far, what I would ask of you is to share your feedback in the comments. I would love to hear what you took from this and what value you took from this. If there's anything you add or would add, and I think that's really important because, you know, at the end of the day, I'm just trying to push a conversation, and I have so much value, but no doubt others watching on will have a lot more value to give too. So please do, if you have anything to share, please do. And if this video brings you value and you apply it, I'd love to hear your feedback in a few weeks' time or a few months' time. So yeah, from now I'll just wish you well and look forward to seeing and hearing how this impacts you.